It was supposed to be a light-hearted reunion between two country superstars, but things took an unexpected turn when Blake Shelton appeared on the Kelly Clarkson Show. Fans were excited to see the longtime friends and former voice coaches share laughs and stories. Yet, within minutes, what started as playful banter took a sharp and uncomfortable turn, leaving the audience stunned as tensions escalated between the two beloved singers. Blake walked onto the stage to roaring applause, cracking jokes as always. Kelly welcomed him warmly, reminiscing about their years together on The Voice. The conversation began with light humor about their competitive nature on the show, but when Kelly teased Blake about his coaching style and retirement pace, his expression subtly changed. Laughter faded as his tone shifted from amused to defensive, marking the beginning of an unexpected clash. Kelly, always known for her playful humor, laughed off the tension and tried to steer the chat back to music. She mentioned Gwen Stefani, joking that Blake probably retired just to stay home with her. Blake chuckled briefly but responded, "You think that's all I do now?" The tone of his voice hinted at annoyance, and Kelly's attempt to smooth things over with a smile only seemed to deepen the awkwardness in the studio. As the crowd watched, Blake crossed his arms and leaned back in his chair. Kelly tried changing topics to his latest projects, mentioning rumors about new music. Blake interrupted with, "You seem to know everything about my life already." Huh? The playful energy that normally defined their friendship seemed to vanish. Viewers could sense that this was no longer a rehearsed TV moment, it was real tension playing out live on air. Behind the scenes, producers were reportedly signaling Kelly to move on, but she pressed forward with professionalism. She asked Blake about his time away from television and how it affected his creativity. Instead of answering directly, he replied, "You know, Kelly, sometimes people step away because they're tired of fake smiles and scripted nonsense." The audience gasped, realizing his words might not just be about television. Kelly's face momentarily froze before she smiled again, masking discomfort. "Well, we've all been there," she said, trying to defuse the situation. But Blake wasn't done. "Maybe some people should learn to take a break instead of talking over everyone else all the time." The tension became unbearable as murmurs rippled through the audience. Kelly looked genuinely taken aback but kept her composure. For a few seconds, there was silence on set. The band, unsure whether to continue playing transition music, waited awkwardly. Kelly turned toward Blake and said quietly, "I didn't mean to upset you." But Blake, still visibly irritated, leaned forward and muttered, "You always know how to push buttons, don't you?" His tone was half joking but edged with real frustration. The energy in the room was tense enough to cut with a knife. Some fans later claimed that Kelly's team edited the exchange in the broadcast version, but audience members who attended the taping said the discomfort was unmistakable. One attendee shared that the crew paused filming for several minutes while both stars took a short break. Blake was seen leaving the stage momentarily, pacing backstage while staff tried to calm him down. When filming resumed, Kelly tried her best to bring the mood back. "We've been friends a long time," she said with a smile. "We can handle a little disagreement." Blake gave a tight grin but responded, "Yeah, as long as we keep it about music and not my personal life." Kelly nodded, but the lightness never quite returned. Viewers could see Blake's frustration simmering beneath the surface. As the show continued, Kelly asked about his recent performances and his life on the ranch. Blake answered curtly, giving short responses. The one's effortless chemistry between them seemed to vanish. Even the audience, usually filled with laughter and applause, sat in uneasy silence. Producers were seen exchanging concerned looks from behind the cameras. Then came the moment that changed everything. Kelly brought up a rumor that Blake might be returning to The Voice for a special appearance. "Would you ever consider coming back?" she asked. Blake sighed and said, "You know, people keep asking me that because they think I can't stay away from the spotlight. But maybe I just don't need to prove myself anymore." The crowd reacted with mild applause, but the tension lingered. Kelly tried to lighten the mood again by joking, "Oh come on, you missed me on those spinning chairs." Blake chuckled dryly and replied, "Miss the chairs maybe, but not the chatter." The audience reacted with a mix of laughter and confusion. Kelly's face turned serious as she replied softly, "Wow, okay, Tell us how you really feel." That's when things began spiraling. Blake stood up slightly in his chair and said, "You wanted honesty. There it is." Kelly crossed her arms, visibly uncomfortable now. "I just didn't expect it to get personal," she said. Blake shook his head, muttering something under his breath that the microphones barely caught. Whatever he said, it clearly wasn't flattering, and Kelly looked momentarily stunned before cutting to a commercial break. During that break, insiders say production staff approached Blake to calm things down. But moments later, audience members claim they saw him toss his earpiece onto the couch and walk off set, visibly angry. Gasps filled the studio as Kelly was left standing alone. The cameras weren't rolling, but the whispers of that dramatic exit spread online within hours. By the time the episode aired, most of the heated moments were heavily edited. Still, keen viewers noticed the jump cuts and awkward transitions. Social media erupted with speculation. Fans posted clips, writing, "Something definitely went down between Blake and Kelly." Others defended both, insisting it was just playful banter gone too far. Within 24 hours, clips of Blake's abrupt departure trended across platforms. Hashtags like #Blake Shelton walks off and #Kelly Clarkson Show drama flooded X and TikTok. While neither star immediately addressed the incident, insiders close to the production hinted that producers were caught completely off guard. "We didn't expect this at all," one staff member allegedly said. Entertainment journalists jumped on the story, analyzing every expression and word exchanged. Some speculated that years of friendly competition on The Voice might have planted deeper frustrations. Others pointed to Kelly's reputation for bold questions and Blake's sometimes sharp sense of humor. Either way, viewers agreed on one thing: it was one of the most shocking daytime TV moments in recent memory. A few days later, Kelly subtly referenced the incident during her show's opening monologue. "Sometimes even friends have off days," she said, without naming names. The audience cheered, interpreting it as a nod to the tension with Blake. Meanwhile, Blake stayed silent on social media, fueling further curiosity about whether their friendship had been permanently strained. Sources close to Blake eventually spoke out, claiming he felt ambushed by some of the questions. According to one insider, he thought it would be a casual interview about music, not about his personal life or The Voice rumors. Kelly's team, however, reportedly insisted that nothing was planned to upset him. They said the questions were standard talk show topics. Fans began taking sides online. Some accused Kelly of provoking Blake, while others defended her as just doing her job. A wave of debates filled social media threads, with clips and gifs of the awkward exchange circulating everywhere. It quickly became one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the month. Meanwhile, Blake was spotted performing at a private charity concert days later. Observers noted that he avoided any mention of the show or Kelly. When asked by reporters afterward, he simply replied, "I'm good. I've moved on." His calm tone didn't fool fans, though many believed there was still tension lingering behind the scenes. As the story grew, talk show insiders suggested producers might invite Blake back for a makeup appearance to clear the air. "Both of them have too much history for it to end like this," said one source. "They just need to talk it out." Whether that reconciliation will happen on or off camera remains to be seen. In the weeks following the broadcast, clips of their earlier, happier Voice moments resurfaced online. Fans shared compilations of their funniest banter, reminding everyone of the bond they once shared. The contrast between those joyful days and the recent awkwardness left fans nostalgic and hopeful that this feud was only temporary. Industry analysts noted that moments like these, though uncomfortable, often boost ratings. "Controversy fuels curiosity," one media expert commented. Indeed, the Kelly Clarkson Show saw a spike in viewership that week, but insiders saw Kelly was genuinely upset about how things unfolded, not pleased by the publicity. Blake's friends reportedly urged him to reach out to Kelly privately. "They've been through so much together," one mutual friend shared. "This isn't the hill they should die on." Still, Blake's silence on the matter suggested he was in no rush to reconcile. His stubborn streak, familiar to fans, seemed to be holding strong. Kelly, on the other hand, continued her show as usual, though some noticed she avoided mentioning Blake in following episodes. Behind the smile, there were signs she was still shaken. Her staff described her as professional but quiet during rehearsals that week, clearly processing what had happened on live television. Over time, the media frenzy began to cool. Other celebrity stories took over headlines, but true fans never forgot that tense afternoon. Clips continued to circulate, especially among the Voice fandom. Many hoped that one day they would see Blake and Kelly laugh together again like old times. Months later, when asked about the incident in an interview, Kelly said, "We're both passionate people. Sometimes that comes across stronger than we intend." It was the closest she came to directly addressing the situation. Her answer hinted that the friendship might not be over, just going through a rough patch. Blake eventually broke his silence too, telling a country radio station, "I've got nothing but love for Kelly. We just had one of those moments of friends argue. That's life." His casual tone reassured fans that the two were on good terms again, or at least making progress toward that. It was the closure many had been waiting for. Though it started as a simple interview gone wrong, the episode became a defining pop culture moment. It reminded fans that even celebrities, no matter how close, have their disagreements. What matters most is how they move forward. Whether on screen or off, the bond between Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson remains a testament to friendship, forgiveness, and the unpredictability of live television. Even after both stars publicly downplayed the situation, fans continued to speculate that the tension ran deeper than either wanted to admit. Some believed years of friendly competition on The Voice had built up small resentments that finally surfaced. Others thought the pressure of constant media attention had simply worn them down. Either way, the dynamic between them no longer felt as effortless as it once did, leaving fans uneasy about what really went on behind the scenes. Rumors circulated that producers from the Kelly Clarkson Show reached out privately to Blake's management team, offering to edit future collaborations more carefully. Insiders claimed both sides wanted to avoid another emotional flare-up. Kelly, ever the professional, reportedly apologized through mutual contacts, saying she never meant for things to escalate. Blake's response was described as polite but distant, suggesting he wasn't ready for direct reconciliation yet. Despite the silence between them, industry peers hoped the two stars would reconnect. They had shared countless laughs on television and toured the country music circuit together. To many, their friendship symbolized the camaraderie that made country music relatable. "If Blake and Kelly can't stay friends, then no one can," joked one Nashville DJ on air, reflecting how emotionally invested fans had become in their bond. Months passed, and attention slowly shifted away from the feud. Yet, every time one of them appeared in an interview, questions about the walk-off incident resurfaced. Kelly handled them gracefully, keeping her tone light and avoiding negativity. Blake, however, often deflected or joked his way around the topic. His strategy seemed to be simply avoid stirring the pot, even if the curiosity never truly faded. Producers who had worked on The Voice in previous seasons offered their perspective, noting that both Blake and Kelly were naturally competitive and outspoken. "They love each other like siblings," one former staffer shared. "But siblings fight. That's just who they are." This insight resonated with many fans, who began viewing the incident less as a feud and more as a momentary emotional outburst between old friends. As more behind-the-scenes stories surfaced, the public began to see a fuller picture. One crew member claimed that Blake had been under unusual stress that day, juggling multiple commitments and interviews. Kelly's teasing, though well-intentioned, might have hit him at the wrong moment. "It wasn't about hostility," the source explained it was about timing and emotion. That interpretation softened public opinion and restored some sympathy for both stars. In a later appearance on another talk show, Blake subtly hinted that he'd learned from the ordeal. "Sometimes you gotta know when to take a breath before you react," he said with a smirk. Though he didn't name Kelly, fans immediately caught the reference. His self-awareness earned praise, showing that even country icons can reflect and grow from their most public mistakes. Meanwhile, Kelly's show continued thriving. She focused on celebrating music, positivity, and open-hearted conversations with guests. Her approach to moving forward quietly and professionally earned her even greater respect from her audience. Many fans admired how she chose grace over gossip, setting an example for handling public disputes with dignity. Eventually, the topic became a sort of folklore among talk show fans, a reminder of how unpredictable live television can be. Some audiences even admitted they tuned in hoping to see Blake return for a surprise reunion. Producers, aware of the growing curiosity, reportedly discussed the idea several times but wanted to wait until both artists felt genuinely comfortable sharing the same stage again. When Blake was later invited to participate in a country tribute episode, speculation skyrocketed that Kelly might use the occasion to mend fences. Rumors spread rapidly across social media. "Imagine if Blake walks back on her show after walking off last time," one fan posted. The anticipation grew so intense that even the show's promotional teasers played coy, refusing to confirm or deny anything. The day of the special arrived, and although Blake didn't make a live appearance, he sent a recorded message praising Kelly's influence on modern country pop. The gesture surprised everyone, including Kelly herself. On air, she smiled warmly and said, "That's really sweet, Blake." It was the first public olive branch between them since the incident, and fans immediately sensed genuine healing. After that, media outlets described the moment as a silent reconciliation. No apologies were spoken. No interviews were arranged, but the tension finally lifted. Both artists began mentioning each other again in positive contexts, sharing small jokes in separate interviews. The awkward silence that had hung over them for months gradually dissolved into friendly nostalgia. By the following year, the feud that once dominated entertainment headlines had become a faint memory. What lingered instead was a renewed appreciation for both artists' authenticity. They had shown that even people in the spotlight experience conflict and growth. In a world obsessed with perfection, their humanity reminded fans that friendship isn't defined by the absence of disagreement, but by the willingness to move past it. Kelly eventually revealed that she and Blake had spoken privately and cleared the air. Her tone was soft and sincere when she said, "We both said what we needed to say. That's what friends do." The audience applauded, happy to see closure. Though no one knows exactly what words were exchanged in that private conversation, the piece that followed spoke louder than any explanation. Today, both Kelly Clarkson and Blake Shelton continue to thrive in their respective careers, occasionally referencing their shared history with laughter instead of tension. Their once heated moment has transformed into a story of forgiveness and understanding. It's a reminder that even when emotions run high, respect can bring people back together. In the end, their friendship, tested but not broken, remains one of country music's most genuine connections.